Dr. Bill, I have a follow-up question for you. I'm seeing that when I'm looking at data, more males tend to be affected by COVID-19 rather than females when it comes to mortality rate. Why might that be?
That's important to point out, and I think it still goes back to the immune issues that we're talking about. We have known for a long time, uh, I'm going to just say it, women tend to fight off infection better than men. Their immune systems seem to function better, and I think there's a lot of things that we don't understand about that. I'm going to also mention that we are also seeing higher morbidity and mortality rates with certain ethnic groups as well, particularly African American. And the folks that work in the equity field, health equity field, have been noting for some time some racial groups have a disproportionate amount of disease burden, and there's a lot of attempt to try to understand that. And a lot of that is thought to be explained at the almost at the DNA level, that your lifetime of being exposed to hardships, adverse experiences, adverse child experiences, be them financial, be them domestic, whatever, a cumulative life experience of having issues like that tend to affect your overall health. And we have seen this in cardiovascular disease, we've seen it in cancer, we have seen it in dealing with infections, et cetera. And what's been really amazing to me in this, excuse me, in this pandemic is that a lot of the underlying health inequities that we have always suspected are really rearing their head right now. We're seeing those across the country. So people who already had marginal ways to cope with things, be it financially, emotionally, job, etc., are not doing as well. And we know that there's things at the molecular level, probably a cumulative life experience, that has probably impacted them at the arrival of this time. Now, go back to your original question. So is that true with males versus females? Some people think, but that may even be more complicated, as it has to do with the influence of testosterone, estrogen, other hormonal influence as well. Katie, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, so I came from HIV, and when people ask me about HIV, I always explain it as, especially in the United States, it's very much a disease that kind of highlights our societal structure. And so to, basically piggyback on what Bill was saying, there are just certain communities that suffer the burden a lot more than others. And so, we've been talking a lot about those health disparities, and especially buzzword social determinants of health. And there's been a lot of research about that. And I think this current pandemic is really just highlighting what we already knew and what we had suspected, but now you're seeing it kind of play out in real time.
Thank you both.